Hi, welcome to another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. I'm your host, Marek Mularczyk from scitraining.co.uk, and welcome to another week, another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. This is episode 68, is it? Or 69? Have a look. 68, yes, episode 68. I've got some fantastic tutorials for you, and I'm going to start with a tutorial in Photoshop. But just before I jump on that, if you're wondering what's that thing here, it's my desk lamp. It's a fantastic LED desk lamp with no cables. Okay, you can power it from the computer for a USB port, or it runs on a battery. I've got another one that runs on a solar panel. Okay, but back into Photoshop. Now, just before we jump into the tutorial, if you have been following my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, the address here on the bottom of the screen, you may have seen loads of exciting videos about what's coming up in Photoshop CS6. Okay, now it's not out yet, but you can see some glimpses. You've got a sneak peeks. If you haven't seen them yet, go to PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk and find the videos on my blog. These are videos from the guys from Adobe, from Brian Neil Hughes, from Zorana B, and the other guys. Okay, now let's jump into Photoshop, and this time I'll be talking about creating your own brushes in Photoshop. Okay, let me show you how to create your own brush, how to define your own brush in Photoshop. Here I have this image open here, and I'm going to use just a portion of the image to define as a brush. Before you create a brush, you need to select something on the page. Ideally, it should be with a transparent background, but you can use a colored background as well if you want to. So here I am on this image. It's a texture. I'm going to use the lasso tool to create a selection. Okay, I'll just zoom in a bit on the image, and I'll use maybe, let's see, this area here as the texture. So I'm going to select it. Just like that. Your brush could be any shape you want. Okay. Then I'll go to Edit menu and choose Define Brush Preset. Okay. The brush name dialog box opens up. You've got a preview of the brush. I'm just going to call it Texture Brush. Okay. And I'll just press OK. Now you can use that. I'm just going to create a new document. Okay. I'll select the brush tool, and in the brush, it's here. That's the brush I've created. Okay. Now remember, brush relies on your foreground color, so it's going to use my foreground color. So it's not going to be exactly the same color as when I created it. Now I've got a preview of the brush. I can make it bigger and smaller. It doesn't have to be the same size. Of course, you can customize that. So make it bigger and smaller. Then you've got the brush engine. In the brush engine, there's lots of options. For example, you can go to Shape Dynamics, and you can change the size jitter. Maybe let's change the angle jitter, so the brush will be rotating in different angles. Okay. And scattering, you can scatter the brushes or the brush here. So you can choose how you want to scatter it. I'm going to set it somewhere on here. You can change the count. I'm going to leave it on 1 for here. Okay, and then you can just click and drag to add lots of instances of the same brush. And that's how you create your own brush in Photoshop. Now, just before I finish, one more information here. What if you want to remove the brush? What if you don't like it, you don't want to use it anymore? What do you do then? Well, here's what you do. You go to Edit and Preset Manager. In Preset Manager, you've got brushes among many other options. Okay, got all options like tools and styles and so on. And here's the brush I just created. So if you want to delete it, what you can do is you can just click on it to highlight it and click delete button, or you can hold down the Alt key on the keyboard, your cursor changes into scissors, and you click on the brush to remove it, and then you click done. And that's how you can remove the brush. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop on creating your own brushes. As you can see, it's really easy, so you can easily create your own brushes in Photoshop and use them. This could be anything, you can turn anything into a brush. Now, just before we jump into the next tutorial, I just want to remind you that last week I was giving away my book, both websites that work with Adobe Dreamweaver CS5. It was published recently. Now I'm going to give one more away. Who's going to get it? You'll find out by going to my Facebook page. And to get it, what you need to do is you need to come to my Facebook page and post on it. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, here's the book I'm giving away, the websites that work with Adobe Dreamweaver CS5. It can normally be purchased for, this one is here, £15, or on Amazon it's about £20. Okay, but I'm going to give it away. So what you need to do is you go to Facebook, go to my page, Marek Mularczyk Site Training. Okay, that's my page here on Facebook, and just post a comment here on my page. Then I'm going to choose one person. I'm going to give the book away. I'm going to post here on Facebook who's going to get a book, so I can post it to you. I hope you get it. Okay, and that's how you post on my page to get a free copy of the book. I will post it to you no matter where you live, even if you live in Australia. Anyway, okay, now just before we jump into the next tutorial, okay, let me tell you what this is going to be. This will be another tutorial in Photoshop, but this time I'm going to show you how an interesting technique on using gradients in Photoshop, using gradients and layer masks at the same time. Okay, so let's jump into Photoshop and let's talk gradients. Here I am in Photoshop and I'm going to work on this image. I'm going to show you how to use layer masks and gradients to create an interesting effect on the images, where the image blends into the backgrounds or blends into the image behind. So here's what I'm going to do first. I've got this image here and I've got a texture. I'm going to put them together. So I'll take this texture and I'll drag and drop it into my image here. Okay. I'll unlock the background layer and I'll move it to the top. So it's on top of it. Okay, the texture is behind. Okay, looks good. Let's check how big the texture is. Might be much bigger than the image, so I'll just scale it down a bit. Here you go. That's fine. So we got the same size. Okay, on this image here, I'm going to add a layer mask. Okay, just an empty layer mask. Okay. Now, with the layer mask selected, make sure the layer mask is selected. So you just click on it. You'll see this bounding box around the layer mask. Otherwise, you see the box around the image. So make sure the layer mask is selected. The other thing you can do is check the tab with the name of the file. If you have a layer mask selected, it should say layer mask in the brackets here. So I've got the layer mask selected. I'm going to select the gradient tool. When using gradient tool, well, when working with layer masks in general, we work with black and white or shades of grey. So make sure you use a black and white gradient, or you could use the black to transparent or white to transparent. The first two gradients should be your foreground to background color and foreground to transparent. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly change my foreground color to black, and I'm going to use the second gradient, foreground to transparent. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, or double click on it. Then you can choose what kind of gradient you want to use. So I'll just show you how it works. I'm going to use the normal linear gradient. Mine is black to transparent. Black is going to hide, white is or transparent is going to reveal the image here. So if I click from the right edge to the left, what's going to happen is the edge is going to reveal the gradient or the texture below. Black is hiding, right? Okay, and you could apply it from any side. So what you can do, I'm just going to undo the last two steps. So I'm going to use the Shift key to create a straight gradient in straight line. So I'll go to here and to here, and on these sides as well. So you can create this kind of effect really quickly and easily with gradient and the layer mask. And you can reapply it as many times as you want. I'm going to go deeper in here, okay, and maybe here as well. No, that was good. Okay. Because it's a layer mask, at any time you can delete it or keep working on it. If you want to go deeper or show it, just change it. You can keep on reapplying the gradients, and because black is hiding on this layer, it's revealing the layer below. And that's how you can use gradients and layer masks for creating interesting effects. In this case, a frame effect in Photoshop CS5. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Photoshop on using gradients. This is all for this week. Just a couple of resources. Remember, visit the PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk for all the latest information about anything Adobe related. Photoshop Lightroom Bridge photography as well. All news, tips, tricks and tutorials. Remember to like me or get in touch with me on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn. You find me everywhere. And this was episode 68 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. Thank you for watching, and now I'm going to see you next week. Bye bye.